Everybody. So we are in Ecclesiastes, the 11th chapter. Okay, this is your spiritual nugget, right? So this chapter, King Solomon focuses on living boldly, generously, joyfully, while trusting God with the unknown. Okay, so King Solomon encourages us to act rather than to be paralyzed by uncertainties. Okay, so if it's something you've been called to do, this is the time to act on it. You don't want to wait till you too old to do it, because then you got other reasons why you can't do it. Now you don't have any reasons for not doing the things that you want to do, that you're called to do, that that thing that makes you feel so good when you do it. The positive things that make you feel so good when you do it. Those are the things that we're called to do, rather than to have. He wants us to trust God's sovereignty and use your faith to work diligently, rather than having fear and hesitation. Okay, procrastination. Right. So this chapter reminds us to rejoice in our youth, but to live with eternal perspective. Okay. So a lot of times, when we're young, we're fearless. We want to do whatever it is we want to do. So that's a time to enjoy. We need to encourage our young people this is your time to do everything you ever wanted to do, and do it with fervency. Do it with vigor, right? Don't have any fear. Just trust God. Have faith. Don't have fear, right? Because there is going to be a time where you just ain't able to do it. Okay? But I just said that already, though. Knowing that God judges all things. So live your life to the fullest, but don't be a fool. Remember, we talked about the wisdom and knowing the right thing versus the wrong thing to do. But have a good time. Life should be lived, okay? But know that God will still be judging you, so don't get it twisted. So some popular verses for this chapter is verse 1 that says, "Cast your bread upon the waters, for after many days you will find it again." Okay, so we should just throw it out there. Cast our cares, cast the things that we want to do, okay? And know that we're going to find it. Trust and use our faith to know that it's going to come to pass, right? Like sowing the seed. Verse 4 says, "Whoever watches the wind will not plant. Whoever looks at the clouds will not reap." So if you just lollygagging, if you just sitting around lollygagging, not doing the things you know you need to do, you're not going to get the fruits of your labor. You're going to look back and wish you coulda, woulda, shoulda. Have you ever talked to older people? I said, "Man, when I was young, I wanted to do blah, 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 and they ain't do nothing. Oh, it looked like you did da, da, da. That's good. I remember I wanted to do that and didn't do nothing." So don't be one of those people, okay? Because if you keep living, age will catch up with you, Verse 6 says, "Sow your seed in the morning, and at evening let your hands not be idle. For you do not know which will succeed, whether this or that, or whether both will do equally well." So put all our seeds out there, try, because some of your trying is going to come into flourishing. Sometimes it won't, but you don't know until you try, right? So keep pushing, keep going. And then, just like planting stuff, some of them come up, some of them don't. Some of them die in the roots, but we got to keep planting. Okay, Ecclesiastes 9:11-9 says, "Rejoice, young man, for in your youth, and let your heart give you joy in the days of your youth. But know that for all these things, God will bring into judgment." So have a good time, young people. Do your thing. However, use wisdom. That's why we give you this old wisdom. Tell our kids, use wisdom, because, honey. Okay, so some of the takeaways is to be generous and courageous, giving, investing, and acting in faith. So our money is not ours. We are not going to go with it. When people put money in the casket for folks, and folks come out, and the people that work at the cemetery, they steal that money, because they know they can't do nothing with it. So surely let me pay my bills with it, okay? So all of that money is, we talked about it. King Solomon talked about, how you work hard, and sometimes your work is in vain because you leave it to your kids and they just swindle it. You can't live for that. You got to live for now. But you also wisdom says leave something behind. So, be courageous, do all the things you need to do, because you need to, just in case you get 90 years old and you can't work, you got some coins from the old you, the young you that looked out for the old you. All right. Stop overanalyzing the unknown. Waiting for perfect conditions leads to missed opportunities. Okay. somebody. Lord, you talking to me. Okay? Okay, no procrastination. Work diligently and diversify efforts. So, do a variety of things. You know how people have the various streams of income, various streams of income. That's what we need. Variety, okay? Enjoy life, but stay accountable. We already said that. Trust God's sovereignty over uncertainties. Just have faith. Just if we give it to him, that's all we can do. All right. So the nuggets to take away: generosity, decision making, purposeful living, balanced joy. That's good. Balanced joy. Okay. And faith in action. All right. So here's our affirmation: I live with courage, sowing seeds of faith and generosity. I will not fear uncertainties, for God orders my steps and brings increase in my time. This is really good. So I want you to reflect on, what areas of my life am I hesitant to act in because I'm waiting for perfect conditions? I can think of a few. I know you can too. If you're bold enough, drop them in the chat. Let's talk about it so we can pray for each other. All right, you all. This is your spiritual nugget. Everybody.